Every week we hear about a new superfood that promises weight loss, glowing skin, eternal youth. But is it real or just exceptional marketing? We're going to be talking about that and a lot more right after this. Right after this. All right, welcome everybody. This is the Life Enthusiast Health Shots. I'm your host, Scott Patton. Joining me as usual is Martin Pytela, health coach. Hey, Martin, how are you doing today?
Today is a smoothie day, Scott. I have mistimed
Is
it.
it a super
But
smoothie day?
yeah, I think I may have mistimed it, but I think it's by God's design. I get to show off my Vitamix as it's slowly dripping out the smoothie that I prepared. And so maybe that's how it should be. Me showing the world that I drink a smoothie every morning, most every morning.
It's morning where you are. It's evening where I am. I'm in Namibia, which is west of South Africa, and I'm about to go on a safari.
It's
So,
awesome.
yes.
Yeah, you get to live a life that I don't get to live because I'm managing the business and you're managing me.
Uh,
All right.
all right.
Well,
So today we're going to cut through the hype. We're going to talk about what superfoods are and if they're worth your money and which ones are mostly, well, we're not going to be talking about any of the competition, but
no,
let's talk about like what is superfoods?
it's a moniker, it's a marketing thing. It's food that has better qualities. Originally, Javari was the founder of Exula Foods. And he claimed to me that in 1987, when he was putting it together, he was the inventor of the term superfood. And he spelled it super and then food together with the capital F. And the idea was that the combination was supposed to be better than the sum of its parts, or the sum
Right.
was supposed to be better than the individual things. The idea was that it was capable of doing more than what you would expect. But later it just
Right.
got hijacked by marketers, and today superfood is anything that's somehow special.
And we have our regular Kevin. Hi, Kevin. He had some excellent products 30 minutes ago. Iridescent,
Iridescent.
Ultra CoQ10, and Advancium. Ah, awesome.
Yeah. So,
All
Kevin,
right.
in this one, I have uh, Power Slim, Ultra Q10. I have what is that one called? Aura Fit, and I have some maca added into it, and I added some hemp seeds. What else did I put in there? Well, it's a pretty rich mix, and 2 apples and a cup of blueberries.
Nice. All right. So let's get back to superfoods. And I'd like to put it this way. Originally, the way, and maybe even still today, it was a specific food that had high nutrient values, like lots of vitamin C or whatever it could be, right? So some people will say blueberries are a superfood. And then it kind of morphed into like maca and these mushies and like all these, things that were from deepest, darkest Africa or for the Amazon basin, or it was something that was not readily available where you were. And for me, it is morphed into a blend where, like you were talking about Javari, where he thinks that if you mix this with that and you get it together, and then you mix that with this and get it together, and then you take those two and you mix it together, then it becomes something synergistically way more powerful. And that's, I have no reason to doubt that based on my personal experience. And so when I think of superfoods, I think of this is a blend of superfoods that have been put together based on really experience, trial and error, testing.
Yep.
This guy, if we could, and there's a lot of intuitiveness, or like you had mentioned, God willing, you were able to show
Oh,
the
divine
the
inspiration,
super
Scott. When Javari
divine
was
inspiration.
asking, when Javari was asking for this to be revealed, he was in total desperation with aluminum caused allergies. He was on his knees begging, "Dear God, either show me how to heal this or take me out of here." That was it. And he had what's known as the inventor's dream. He woke up
Mm,
fully knowing what had to be done. And it was 12 things put together. And it was an emulsifier, a cracked seed, antioxidant, um, grasses. I don't know. I'd have to go look at the chart to tell you exactly what the groups are. But it was the synergistic, as you said, effect of these things that enable the immune system to fire up, the metabolic system to fire up. Like all of a sudden, your brain starts working better, your sex drive returns,
right.
your weight management is reactivated, all of that stuff.
Okay. So don't get so excited that you spill your superfood all over your super table. Okay.
Yeah. I have a new chair. It doesn't squeak.
Oh, awesome. We're making progress. um, and I want to just jump in on this point too, because I think it's really important that when people are working with stuff with their hands and their being and their love, they do get divine inspiration. And there's a herbal, it's a process called ayahuasca. And they take this stuff from the Amazon and they turn it into a tea and blah, 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 blah. And I never did it. I have no desire to do it, but some friends of mine did it. And I was talking to the leader of the process, because I dropped my friends off and picked them up. And I said, like, where is this stuff coming from? And he said, well, it's actually a certain tree in the Amazon, and it's the second layer of bark. And I'm going, okay, Amazon is huge. There's a zillion trees. Who knew? Who was the one to figure out the second layer? And I asked that, like, how did they ever figure that out? And he said, the trees told them.
Exactly.
So a whole different level of being, and we're dumbed down with our TVs and our radios and our phones and our distractions and the fact that we're in concrete buildings and stuff. We're not in the parks and the forests, and we miss out on that thing that happens when you're connected to nature. And with the superfoods, particularly the Exula brand, I think that's really what's happened is between yourself and Javari, when he was here, you put together these combinations that were, based on love, based on knowledge, based on intuition and experience.
Yeah. Meditation, and I think you could call it guided dreaming or whatever. You just go and immerse yourself in it to the point where you are sweating out through your pores the knowledge that you have pushed in, and it's coming out of you. And it happens, you hear me from time to time just spew something off. It's like an off the cuff remark, and it's insightful and remarkable, right?
Yeah.
But it's because I'm in it for 12 hours a day, and all of a sudden you ask a specific question and the answer comes from the ethers. I'm just channeling it.
Right.
Right.
Excellent.
And I think
Kevin has
go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, Kevin has a great comment here. How else can the deer wander around and figure out what to eat and have great energy and strength and eyesight? They're not reading scientific textbooks about nutrition. And he says, I believe in inspiration. And we
Beautiful.
totally agree with you. That's wonderful. Yeah. Thank you. All right. So let's back up for a second. So everyone kind of knows we think superfoods are a blend that has decades, if not hundreds of years of knowledge and experience behind it. And unfortunately, in the marketing world, it's kind of like whatever gets hyped. And as I was thinking about today's episode, it reminded me of probably 40 years ago. I'm managing a grocery store, and we have a full end display of oat fiber because somebody wrote somewhere that oat fiber was the thing, and it would clean out your arteries, and it would do this and it would do that. And people bought it by the caseload. And I don't know if they ever ate it or what they did with it, but I don't know. Like, Martin, is oat fiber still a thing? Like,
is oat fiber a thing?
Yeah, like the people, like, like,
yeah. You know, if you want your horse to have a shiny coat, you give him oats. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Oat straw is one of the 5 silicon-rich concentrators, right? Like, plants are really interesting. They're concentrators of stuff, and different plants concentrate different things out of the soil. And in this case, oats and horsetail and nettle and bamboo, that I can pull off the top of my head, are silicon concentrators. And that's what gives your hair and fur and skin and nails and whatever their strength.
Okay. And will it help your heart?
Well, it's a collagen builder, and everything is a structural thing. It's not something that I would think of at first line, because it helps everything. It's like, will bricks help you build a house?
Yeah, it'll help.
Right? They're everywhere. They are the structure of the house. No bricks, no house. Collagen is like that, right? No silicon, no collagen.
Okay, so there's a lot of people that are selling a collagen product.
Yeah.
So would you be better off just getting oat bran and adding that to your yogurt?
Well, it's different. One is the source material from which your body will build the collagen protein. The other one is the protein that the chicken or the cow or the whatever fish has already built. And now you're handing it to me already pre-built. Before I can use it, I still have to take it apart. There's this huge misunderstanding out there that has people thinking that a protein is directly usable. It's not. A protein is a source of amino acids, and your digestive system has to take it apart into its individual components, the amino acids. And from those aminos, it has to recompose human tissue. It's sort of like a Spanish dictionary is made out of the same characters as the English dictionary, but arranged in different ways.
Right?
Well, chicken is arranged in chicken way. I have to take it apart and retype it in human.
There you go.
Yeah.
So Kevin has a question. So let's dive into that. Do most of the Exula products have silica, or is one better than another? And then is a separate collagen supplement needed?
So I believe I just answered.
Oh, that's a deep question.
Yeah, it's a great question. I believe I just answered the separate collagen, right? Collagen is a protein, and you have to digest it before you can use it. So is it needed? Well, you do need to have proteins, whether you take it as collagen or muscle mass or whatever, right? Like, remember, a chicken, for example, is richest in collagen in the head, the feet, and the cartilage and the bone. And chicken soup is that which has the most of the jiggly stuff, the jello, which is the collagen substance. So, yeah, it's great to have it. And back to the first part of the question. Right. So they're not all made the same. We have, of course, targeted different areas, because out of the, say, the bottle is about a pound of product, a pound of powder, and we just mix or fiddle with the ratios of what we promote. Some of them we push the metabolic health. Some of them we push the structural health. Some of them we push and help your liver. and another one we push back against cancer and stuff. So different combinations. So the Aura, AURA line, Aura Seal, Aura Fit, Aura Max, Aura Greens, those are all super rich in the structural support.
And here I am in Namibia, and when I travel, I don't know if you can see this. There he
Yep,
goes.
now we can.
I have, in this particular case, I have Aura Greens. I have to say, I really like it. I've missed the taste of chlorella and spirulina and those, deep green chlorophyll ingredients. But I'm really enjoying this. I'm finding
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it's
I
quite
don't know.
simple.
Yeah, there's just.
and-
Go
yeah,
ahead.
it's very uplifting, right?
Yeah.
Here's an important point to be noted. The most parasympathizing food on the planet is chlorophyll. And this is loaded with it. Chlorophyll as in chlorella, spirulina, wheatgrass, barley grass, all the rich greens.
So, Martin, for the new people, what does parasympathetic mean?
Autonomic nervous system, 2 branches, fight or flight, or rest, repair, digest. Fight or flight is supported by calcium, and parasympathetic by magnesium, rest and repair. So blood pressure down, and relaxation improved, and sleep better, and age slower or reverse aging, fix tired body. All of that is on the parasympathetic side.
So, Martin, if someone was stuck on the fight or flight, which I always think of that as the binary, but
Yeah.
it's not. It's
No,
it's
fight flight
this.
is one side.
That's right. So, but if you're stuck on that side, would the moving to the parasympathetic, and you have problems because you can't get to sleep and you can't rest, and you're always like nervous and anxious and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
This is going to help you move away from that to the other side.
Oh yeah, make yourself a nice drink in the evening, and you'll shut down the craziness of your day and relax into it, and be a much more pleasant emotionally. Your emotional intelligence will go up, your blood pressure will come down, and your readiness to sleep and repair will improve.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I haven't had it in a long time, if I've ever had it, but I really enjoy it. And I'm not sure how many there are, but there's a large number of these superfoods that we have at life-enthusiast.com. And I find that I have one bottle almost every month. I usually go through it in between a month and 6 weeks. Yeah. Depends, because I listen to my body too. And sometimes it just says to stop.
Yeah.
So the other thing I wanted to segue to is we talk a lot about ultra processed foods and how basically they have no nutritional value. So one of the distinctions between, what you get in the cardboard boxes and the jars and the cans in the grocery store versus what you get out of the superfoods is high level of nutrition.
Right. Yeah. It's the nutrient density. It's the calorie rich, nutrient poor that the ultra processed food is famous for. They will give you wonderful things like enriched flour mixed with canola oil that has been hydrogenated with God knows what process, and then has been fortified with high fructose corn syrup. And then it has been colored with all kinds of lovely things to make it pretty. And there it is in a box called breakfast cereal. Right. And it should be called the morning dose of crack.
There you go. So welcome, Tim. Happy to have you with us on the show. And he has a question.
Tim, that's
such a deep, I guess.
Yeah. Well, number one,
right.
We all have genetic differences. Some of us are poor converters, and some of us are highly efficient converters of food into energy. And the efficient converters are too good at turning starches into glucose. And glucose is what you're watching for when you're heading towards diabetes. It's the blood glucose level. So start with starch and you flip it into glucose and it spikes you. And if you're a great converter, then you're going to be creating a huge spike followed by a huge crash that you're going to feed back into. Because as soon as you start crashing, you say, oh, I have to take some more. And so you start with a bowl of cereal in the morning, turn it into a spike, crash, have a sandwich right after that, followed by orange juice. And if you're really a poor manager, then you're going to start drinking alcohol into it. All
Or
of
donuts.
Donuts, of course, and bananas, and you name it.
The
All
coffee
of
break,
which,
right? The coffee break in the morning, the coffee break in the afternoon. Here's a bunch of donuts I got from Timmy's.
Yeah.
Krispy Kreme. Away you go.
all of which will create this vector, this drive toward too much glucose, which is accompanied by too much insulin, which is followed by insulin resistive, don't want to. And here's the thing, your cells will store only so much glucose. It's like trying to make a sponge hold more or trying to fill a glass
Right.
above its top. Not going to happen. And so you have this person heading towards diabetes because there's more glucose than what the body knows what to do with. Consistently, every day, all the time, overflowing. The antidote is lots of salad accompanied with lots of fat. If you want to be a vegetarian, you need to be on a salad and olive oil all the time. If you don't insist on being a vegetarian, then go keto. Salad and steak and stir fry and fish and omelet with lots of vegetables and bacon on top. That's your antidote to your friend's diabetes.
Right, because what we're hearing and what you're saying is they're eating all of this starch. So they're eating potato chips, breakfast cereals, donuts, rice, potatoes,
Pizza, yeah.
pizza, all that stuff. So get rid of all that stuff. When you get rid of all that stuff, what's left? Vegetables, some fruit, meat, bread,
Yeah.
like no bread, right?
No
So
bread.
they have to, so you cut out the sugars, you cut out the flour, like bread and donuts, you cut out the starchy vegetables like potatoes,
Yeah.
you cut out the refined flour, the refined sugar. There's another white one I forgot, salt, Himalayan salt, not white
And
salt.
plant seed oils. That's a bad one.
Right, plant seed oils. So
So-
there's this whole massive part of the grocery store that you have to just cordon off and not go down,
Yeah.
which leaves the outside, which is where your vegetables are, where your meat is, your eggs are.
Well,
Sneak in to get the
visualize-
olive oil.
Mhm. Visualize the difference between a sandwich and a salad roll. Like in a sandwich, you have
Right.
2 slices of bread, yay thick, with a skiff of mayo or butter, with a bit of something in between. So it's veggies this
And
deep
lettuce.
and bread this deep. Now a salad roll is made with rice paper. So you take this thin rice paper, thickness of this, and you will wrap it around a vegetable, right? Like you will have, I don't know, 3 shrimp and 2 sticks of carrot and 7 strands of green onion, whatever, with some peanut sauce. And you wrap it in this thin wall thing, and it's a salad cigar made with rice paper.
See, and in my mind, I had iceberg lettuce. You take that nice leaf of lettuce, you stick some something, whatever meat that you want in there, and a little bit of some other
Okay.
stuff. Roll it, and then down you go.
Okay, excellent. I would use romaine because it's much more pliable and bigger leaves. Like you can visualize a romaine lettuce leaf. It's this big. And you can layer your mayo, mustard, turkey, carrot, celery, you name it. Just heap it up, roll it. Now you have a cigar that's made with romaine lettuce with stuff on the inside.
So there's 2 things we should add to what we're telling Tim, I think. One is start drinking water, cut out the alcohol, cut out the juices, Probably cut out dairy unless it's raw and whole,
Yeah.
and just focus on the water. And actually, that's one of the things that I'm working on right now is I want to drink water and or water with the superfoods, because I've gotten in the habit of, oh, it's really hot and I want something fizzy. And if I want something fizzy, I'll get fizzy water and I'll put the superfood in it. but I look at certain things. Anyway, temptation is I can resist anything except temptation. So I've recognized the error of my ways, and I'm going to work on that. But really, you need to look at what you're drinking too. Drinking now, I just said water, and that's a mistake, right, Martin? Like when we're talking about drinking water, and you want it to be healthy, what do we need to do?
It's not really a mistake. It's just that the water has become industrialized like most other things too. So you need to think of this water has to be chlorine removed if it was chlorinated. So it must be filtered with some carbon, right? So no chlorine and no glyphosate water. And then that water should be reorganized, and this organization should be done with either the ceramic bits or with one of the plates. Like, I'm just going to reach into my drawer here to find one of these things that I have sitting handy. Do I have it sitting handy? Oh, it's just a bag of it. But in here is this one is called water beads. And in it, it's a pouch. And in the pouch, you have these beads, and they are clear thing, but it's a resonator. And this resonator, whatever you touch it on, will structure the water. So you can touch it to the glass of water. You can touch it to your sore face, whatever you want.
What's it called, Martin?
This is called the water beads. And the brand is called Balancer.
And it's on Life Enthusiast website?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. And so
water beads.
This is super flexible, easy for travelers. When I go to the world, I stick it in I don't have a pocket here. That's why I don't have one ready. But it would be in my breast pocket. And it would be automatically structuring every drop of blood that the heart is pumping a gallon a minute. Right?
So in other words, structure water that's clean, which means
there
that
you go.
Getting
Thank you for being the integrator.
Water,
yeah.
If it's in a bottle and it's plastic, that's just almost as good, right, Martin?
Phthalates are a bane of humanity, as are BPA and all of that. What that does, it brings to you chemicals that will disrupt your hormonal system. Not a good thing.
No. So you want to be able to take the water out of your tap or rainwater, put it through a filtration system.
Buy it in glass bottles. It's worth the money. If you could only find it where you are, but there's this wonderful water called Gerolsteiner, Gerol Steiner. It comes from Germany. It's high magnesium water, and it's just phenomenally good. It's out there.
Kevin says, I have the prills, but the water beads would be a great addition. I agree. I have the prills and I don't have the water beads either. So I know what I'm going to get next time.
All right.
So we covered alcohol. So getting back to the diabetes, we covered food. We covered what we drink. Probably exercise, making sure you get, walk for half an hour a day, an hour a day.
Yeah, you want to work it off. But the main word I would have with your friend is that fat is your friend. Eat more fat and eat less starch. The 1970s fiasco, where they started promoting low-fat diets, was the beginning of the diabetes epidemic that has befallen the industrialized world. Right. Less carb, please.
All right. So let's talk about a few of our favorite superfoods. We don't have a lot of time left, but we talked about, or I showed you my Ora Greens. And you mentioned that you have this one, which I also have, Power
Yeah.
Slim.
Yeah, I
So
put that into this smoothie here.
talk a little bit about the Power Slim.
Power Slim is really interesting. It was made for people who would normally take coffee shots.
Oh.
And there are many people who would like to get fired up and have more energy. So we put actually quite a bit of caffeine into it, but we combined it with another ingredient that loses the jitteriness of it. So you will be stimulated without being made wired. And the other
I
thing
didn't
that,
know that. I have to interrupt you right there because I tried to drink coffee for 2 weeks when I was 22 years old. And I would have this cup of coffee at 7 in the morning. And then I would be bouncing off the walls. I would be like 3 feet off the ground for 2 or 3 hours. And I had to stop. I said, this is going to kill me. And I didn't know about the extra caffeine in the Power Slim. And I didn't get any of that.
no,
Maybe it's because I'm
no,
40 years
because
older.
we have
You
put the
balance it out.
antidote. Yeah, we have put
The
the
antidote.
antidote in there.
Stop using that word. You know, YouTube is listening to us.
No way. Is that a bad word?
Antidote, yes.
Ah, okay.
We have to be very careful, folks. We're one strike away from being banned on YouTube, not on this channel. That's why we're not on that channel, because we're one strike away. But things like dosage and antidotes and the C word with a U and R and then another letter at the end of it, man, oh man, we just casually say it, not in context of anything medical, and we get hammered. So I just thought I would bring that up.
Yeah, the censorship will be the death of me. Okay, so you started talking about the Power Slim.
The Power Slim. I was going to say nicotine, but I meant the other one.
Yeah, it's caffeine.
Caffeine.
But it's with the antidote. So you will have stimulation, but without any jitteriness. And the other thing you will have are plants that are suppressing the natural hunger. So when you make a smoothie with this, you should normally be not needing to eat for 3-4 hours at minimum.
Right.
Just not hungry.
So who would be the ideal person to be using the Power Slim?
People who feel that they have more weight than they want to carry. Anybody.
It'll help them.
Especially the fat people. I don't want to accuse you of being fat, but you could be slimmer, right?
Yes.
Me, for sure, right? Like I have been sitting at my desk stressing too much, so I have the cortisol belly fat, and so I'm taking the Power Slim smoothies.
Cool. All right, and we have I think we have room for maybe two more. I think one of my favorites is Iridescent. Let's talk a little bit about that one.
Yeah, and Kevin mentioned it that was in his smoothie. And Iridescent is our flagship product. It has everything in it, 350 different components. When I try to describe it, it's sort of like, so now you want to stage Beethoven's symphony, I forget the name of it, but it includes the Ode to Joy. So not only are you putting on the entire symphonic orchestra, you're also adding a choir to it. Right. It's that sort of richness. Yeah, you can make music on a string quartet. It's not a problem. It will be okay. It's going to be called chamber music, and it will be intimate. But if you want to go all out, you need to go put on a symphony. And Iridescent is like that. It has the full spectrum. That's the word that I would like to use. Full spectrum nutrition. Every aspect of your human physiology is supported. Sex drive, vital force, slimness, smartness, speediness, but in a good way. All the strengths you would ever want to have, they're all there.
So it's a foundational product.
Oh yeah, totally. take a shot every morning. You'll live better.
Yeah. And I have been for 20 years, and I'm
Yeah.
definitely living
Can you
better.
believe it's been 20 years?
Time goes. Time
Yeah.
goes. Is there anything else I want to say about Iridescent? Iridescent, it was the first product that when I ran out after about 5 days, it was like, what is wrong with me? What is going on? I don't understand. And then it was like, oh, I haven't had Iridescent for 5 days. I better order some. Whereas every other thing I'd ever taken and stopped taking, I never noticed any difference whatsoever.
Yeah,
So
it's the light. It's the light of life. It's the vital force that we support you with. Yeah.
Okay, Martin, we have time for one more. We've talked about 3 of mine. What is one of your favorites?
I like the simple ones, and there are several. I have apple fiber, I have Dulse, and I have the lecithin with Q10. And those are.
I remember us talking about Dulse before, but what is that now?
It's
I
spelled
forget.
Dulse. It's as seaweed, and it's just rich in minerals. I talked about plants being concentrators. Seaweed is the concentrator living in the ocean, and it concentrates what's in the seawater. And it's really rich in minerals, and especially iodine. And because I'm the thyroid dominant type, all of you guys who are not the linebacker body build, if you're slimmer, slim arm, slim ankle, those are the thyroid dominant folk. You need more iodine naturally. I'm one of them. So if if your chest is like this, as opposed to all the way to here, you're the thyroid type.
Am I the thyroid type?
You're the thyroid type closer to the adrenal than I am. Like
Okay.
I'm far out to the thyroid. You're closer between the two. But yes, you're decided the thyroid type.
So as you were talking and you mentioned like from the sea and the seaweeds and all the rest of it, it reminded me of all the studies people did about the Japanese and how could they live so long and be so healthy. And they said, well, one of the things that they noticed they were doing is they were taking the seaweed off the beach and mulching it and putting it into their garden so that it would decompose and they would get all that rich iodine into their fruits and vegetables that grew in the soil.
Right.
So
plus they eat it directly. You can order a wakame salad. You can order a miso soup. It will have kelp floating in it. You order a rice roll. It's wrapped in nori. It's all seaweed with seaweed.
There you go.
Right.
And it's
Dulse
an easy way to get it.
Dulse does that for me. It comes from the east coast of America, Maine or Nova Scotia, and it's just a lovely mix. And so I spike my food with that.
Oh, okay. So that's another thing that we never brought up because I always mix it in with water. You sometimes say juice, but I just put it in with water. And but if you have a salad or you have some other food on your table and you want to just sprinkle some on, you could certainly do that and take it that way.
Totally. Yeah. These superfoods are quite easily made into a thing in a blender, but you can take a spoonful of it and throw it in a salad. It'll just hide inside of that quite nicely.
Yeah. I want to bring up, you just brought up that blender again. Before I knew you, I was trying different powders to try this powder, take this powder, whatever. And what I found was you needed a blender to get the thing into the water, right? Instead of having clumps and all the rest of it. And what I love about the Exula brand is I just put it into a cup. I get a spoon. I swirl it around. There may be the odd little clump that I need to push against the side. And then it's all dissolved. And it just blew my mind in the beginning.
Yeah, this is the care of care with the manufacturing and also with the design. Micronization. This is such an important topic. Micronization is reducing the particle size. your digestive system will extract nutrients only from the surface layer. Like in between my hands, whatever's there, your digestive can't touch it. It can only touch what's on the outside. So the bigger the clump, as in you don't chew your food, you don't touch it. It just comes through you, but never gets extracted out of. So when we reduce the particle size, that of course dramatically to the third power increases the surface area from which these nutrients can be pulled. So that's one, it
Right.
feeds you better. Two, because it's smaller particle, it will mix with water. Three, we add an emulsifier, which will allow these things to be connected to water. It's like soap, except it's not soap. We use lecithin as the emulsifier, and it's the human
So it
compatible.
sticks in the water and it doesn't all go to the bottom.
Yeah, it will mix with water.
Kevin has a question, but before we get to that question, I wanted to bring up one other thing, because we're now talking about the quality of the production process, the quality and the production process of the superfoods. And when you buy the normal generic something powder that you're going to mix in your blender off the shelf, it has gone through a significantly different process than the Exula Superfoods. And one of the things that happens is that they get this huge grinder, they grind it up, and when they're grinding it, of course, it, like when you're rubbing your hands, it gets hotter and hotter and hotter to the point where it's basically cooking whatever the ingredients are. So, Martin, are the superfoods actually raw that we have it in Exula?
Yeah, they're actually raw, uncooked, and they have never gone past 115 degrees Fahrenheit. So the enzymes remain alive. Yeah,
And
that's a big
enzymes
deal.
are
Also.
so crucial.
Enzymes are the
It is.
spark of life. Without them,
Yeah. So the majority of the high processed foods that we have on the grocery shelves don't have enzymes.
well, some were cooked, they're gone for sure, right? And then the ones that were milled are probably milled without the care, so they may have been overheated anyway.
Okay.
So
So that's really important.
I
The
just
food,
thought of one other thing, Scott, and that's the liquid, right? Like when you buy a liquid drink that would be like prepared for you, ready to drink, they have to kill the enzymes by pasteurization, because if
yes.
they leave them in, it will ferment, and you can't have fermenting drinks because they will blow up the bottles. So they stop the fermentation by killing the enzymes. So when you buy a commercial carrot juice or commercial orange juice or commercial whatever juice, it has had its enzymes inactivated.
Yeah. All right. So now Kevin has a great question. Is the Dulse better than your masterpiece with marine plasma?
Yeah, that's sort of like discussing ice cream and steak at the same time. It's not the same thing, Kevin. Dulse is a food ingredient that's taken for its bulk value. Like you want to take volume of it, and it's a food ingredient. Marine plasma is a whole different thing. When at the special time of year the grasses are blooming, there is this mineral upswelling in the oceans, and this life force explodes. It's a bizarre thing. You will see whales congregating here because they want to feast on the shrimp or microplanktony stuff that's growing in there. So it starts with this. The minerals are welling up from the cold water from bottom up, rising to the surface. The grasses are blooming. I think the word ormus should be brought in because these special minerals are present. And life force explodes. And that is being fed by the plankton, the smallest of living creatures. And the plankton is being fed on by crustaceans, like shrimpy things. and those are being fed on by small fish, and small fish by large fish, and life force explodes. And folks go out to those areas and siphon off that plasma, the amniotic fluid of life from the ocean. That's as best as I can describe it. And that's what
very poetic.
That's what marine plasma is. And you would use that. We sell marine plasma in the brand called Quicksilver Scientific under the bio something. It's one is called hypertonic, the other one's called isotonic, and they are just marine plasma, pure, nothing else added. And then the masterpiece is made by mixing zeolite with the plasma and some vibrational injection of high vibration music and whatnots. They call it the scalar energy inputs. We would have to get into a very fancy talk.
So the Dulce has a lot of iodine, is what I heard you say earlier.
Yeah.
And the masterpiece probably has not very much. And that would be that, so they really are two different. They come from, marine, yes. But other than that, it's kind of like there's a shark and a seal. They're not the same.
Yeah.
Goldfish and shark.
So the masterpiece has the source, the marine plasma, that is usually fed upon by animal type of creatures to create life. Whereas the Dulse is the plant branch of it all, and it's just living separately, creating its own life form from the minerals that are suspended in the water using sunlight. Talk about poetry. Visualize a photon coming from the sun, and the photon hits the chlorophyll molecule that's in the plant, and that photon is slowed down and stored inside that chlorophyll so that when you eat it, you will be able to release the stored light and make it spring up and feed you again.
That's lovely. That's really good. I love that. All right. Okay. Well, I think we've come to the end of our time together. Please, if you've gotten anything out of this, like, share, even hit the save button. All these things help YouTube to know that this is great information and you're interested in it and want to see more. And they hopefully will share it to more people and we can help more people. Martin, before we head off, any last words of poetry that you would like to share?
Life force. Get more of it. It comes in green.
Awesome. All right. You've been listening to the Life Enthusiast Health Shots podcast, restoring vitality to you and the planet. We're a little early this week. We'll be back to our regular time on Wednesday next week. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Hey! Hey!